dig up a past I swore and stay buried.
You will always be a monster.
Ares! I have nothing more to hide.
The ghost of Sparta had been born.
Remember when Atreus discovered that the realm tier in Odin's basement is in the approximate area where Odin destroyed the first giant Ymir? Odin confessed this himself.
I finally figured it out. This is where you killed Ymir, isn't it? The first giant?
Tell me, can you murder a landslide? Smother a storm? He was more, a force of nature, a vessel of power. I was young, foolish, saw an opportunity to create something more. I know you think it's cruel, but I did what I had to protect my own.
A popular belief among the God of War community is that the realm tier actually leads to the totality of divine powers, an incomprehensible place of knowledge, like the higher plane of existence. After all, the light emitting from the realm tier and the mask has the same color and glow which Athena radiated after her death.
If all on Olympus would deny me my vengeance, then all on Olympus will die. I have lived in the shadow of the gods for long enough. The time of the gods has come to an end!
And after her ascension,
There's nowhere you can hide, Spartan. Put as much distance between you and the truth as you want. It changes nothing. Pretend to be everything you are not. Teacher, husband, father. But there is one unavoidable truth you will never escape. You cannot change. You will always be a monster.
I know. But I am your monster no longer.
and we know Athena has been to the higher plane of existence. But what is this so-called higher plane of existence? We see a glimpse of it in the God of War Fallen God comics, and it seems to be a place that is inhabited by divine beings greater than the typical Greek or Norse gods. But before we make any assumptions, let's quickly listen to how Cory Barlog himself describes the higher plane of existence.
So what I was setting up into was this idea that Athena had died and was the first person in the pantheon of gods to actually have a selfless act, to die from a selfless act. So she had kind of ascended to this higher level, and then at first she's somewhat altruistic and being like, hey, wow, okay, I did pretty good. But then she starts to realize, wait a minute, I can actually affect the rest of the world. I don't want anybody else to get up here.
The arc of Athena was the most important arc of the entire series, at least when I started working on it, was to kind of show that she was the one Greek god who did something selfless. She sacrificed herself to protect Zeus, and that actually allowed her to ascend to a higher realm, and she ended up realizing, oh look, there's more power up here. So it sort of corrupts her a little bit, and then she's sort of, you know, orchestrating the demise of the other gods. She was selfless. She died protecting Zeus, right? But in that selfless act, she was the first god to be selfless, and that was allowing her to ascend to a higher plane. She ends up going into a place that is higher than everybody else, and it totally messes with her head. She becomes just as bad as everybody else because she experiences a power greater than everybody, so that it is kind of always that message.
This plane of existence is starting to sound a whole lot like Pleroma from Gnostic mythology. This rift in reality we see hidden in Odin's basement may as well lead to Pleroma itself, or at least the concept of the beginnings of creation outside of the many pantheons. Pleroma is actually Greek for fullness, and it is the word given by the Gnostics to heaven, which could be defined as the condition of ultimate, get this, fullness or plenty, explicitly referring to the essence of God. The inhabitants of Pleroma, the beings who existed there, were known as eons. In other words, the Gnostics referred to an eon as an astral entity that lived in Pleroma. There's a male and female counterpart for each eon. The Gnostics believed that the cosmos was created by one true God who was indefinable and unknown. According to the mythology, this deity is so powerful that no one can grasp his existence, and this supports what we hear from Odin.
Why build your house here? What's in there? I'm gonna trust you.
I'm trying to tell you. In the wake of Ymir's death, I saw something. The rift. Possibly the birthplace of reality. I looked inside and something was there looking back at me. It whispered to me things I couldn't possibly comprehend, but I knew they were true.
Now, I'm not going to confuse you with the complicated story behind this mythology, but here are a few things I thought you should know. In Pleroma existed 4 eons, the embodiment of truth, spirit, foreknowledge, and wisdom. All these gods coexisted peacefully within Pleroma until wisdom revolted against the other gods. Wisdom, the female half of the eon, opted to create something without the permission of God or her masculine counterpart. As a result, a flawed heavenly entity known as Demiurge created our planet, which is riddled with natural calamities, diseases, and wars. This creature was also credited with creating the world's myths and pantheons, including the Greek, Norse, and Egyptian. This is an evil god according to the Gnostics, and the goal of life in this world is to receive knowledge and truth from one true God. But here's the mind-blowing part. Demiurge is actually believed to exist in Greek myth as well. The being was called Demiurgus and was believed to be a subordinate god who fashions and arranges the physical world to make it conform to a rational and eternal ideal. So it's not far off to think that this is the route Santa Monica is taking. Everything we hear Cory Barlog talk about, and the original idea of God of War 3 having to do something with the 3 wise men, and all the connections Gnostic mythology has with Greek, it all points to Pleroma. The rift might be a portal to knowledge and truth from one real God who transcends all mythology and pantheons. Ymir is the first being in Norse mythology. The fact that Odin declares shortly after killing Ymir that this is where the rift initially occurred, his genesis might be a testament to why it did, because Ymir is the closest being linked to a one true god in the Norse pantheon. Since the god of wisdom was a deity that rebelled against God, it appears that other gods of wisdom, such as Athena and the Egyptian god of wisdom Thoth, have a fundamental link to Pleroma. And to get to that connection, you must get knowledge and truth from a one true god. Each pantheon may have its own way of doing so. As a goddess of wisdom in the Greek pantheon, Athena's path to a higher existence was her sacrifice to rescue Zeus. Odin, the deity of knowledge and wisdom in the Norse mythology, may have found his way to that road by completing the mask in order to peer into the rift. Simple. Anyway, that's all I have for today's video. If you guys agree with what I said, then leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell for more content like this. And if you don't agree with what I said, then comment down below. Tell me your theories, and I'll make sure to check out what you guys have to say.